Hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy with you once again, and well, it's a bit of a rainy day here in Carlisle. I'm outside the local DIY store, and we're between heavy downpours. First time I've done a video from inside the car for a while. First time I've done a video on my iPad without having an external microphone for a while, so I'm gonna have to play around with volume levels and things before I put it up online, but we can get round that. I just thought I'd get on quickly because there's a couple of things have come to notice for me in the last day or so. One, DP Review. I mentioned about this a little while back, but DP Review, which it's been going for 20 odd years, and it's actually fantastic what they've got. A huge mine of back reviews and tests and all sorts of things camera related, and it looked as if they were going to disappear into the ether, but it looks like they've been taken over by Gear Patrol, and hopefully Gear Patrol are going to keep DP Reviews archive and maybe even add to it with their new stuff. So I'm really pleased about that, because DP Reviews been one of those places as a go-to. If you didn't know something, you could go onto there. They had some fantastic videos which have been done over the years by people and reviews and how-tos. Really good archive, and a fantastic well, pretty much a fantastic sort of reservoir of information from the dawn of digital photography. And it's just about unique in that, because the other ones which were there at the beginning have gone by the wayside, but DP Review's always been there since digital cameras first started. So really good to see that. Second thing, I was glancing through a couple of the sites earlier on today. It's 20 years yesterday since the very first Olympus digital camera, the E1, with all 5 megapixels, all 5 megapixels of resolution. So we've got a little bit bigger than that, but 20 years, it's flown by, hasn't it? It doesn't seem 20 years ago, but look what's happened in that time. There's been some amazing advances in digital photography in that time. And we look at these reviews, we look at some of the reviews I do, I read the comments that you put below, and so some are very positive and some are rather negative, and some are quite scathing about what we've got technology wise. But the technology that we have at the moment, even on the cameras we don't particularly rate at the moment, compared to that E1 from 20 years ago, they're amazing. They're just it's chalk and cheese. It really is. And 20 years isn't too big in the great picture for me. It's a third of my life. And 20 years ago, what that would have been, 2003. 2003 is a third of my life ago. Really? God, that's this side of the millennium. I remember the millennium as if it was yesterday. I remember looking forward to the millennium, thinking, my goodness, we're going to be in a different century. Wow. That's over that's a third of my life away. Never mind. Takes a bit of getting my head round. But yes, 5 megapixels from the Olympus, and it was a fantastic camera. So there's been an awful lot going on in that time. But even more so, if you go back to 2/3 of my life away, 40 years ago, in 1983, was when we got the very first IMAX camera. The very first IMAX camera came out 40 years ago. It was those phenomenal IMAX, high resolution, super large screen views. And I haven't seen too many IMAX films over my time, but I did see one. Well, one of the ones that sticks in my mind was one about space when I was at Kennedy Space Center in Florida a few years ago, good few years ago. 20 years ago, actually. It was 2003 that I saw this. I went to see a fantastic space film, which was done in the IMAX cinema at Kennedy Space Center. And it's one of those things that's stuck in my mind over these years. So 40 years ago since IMAX came out. You know, as time goes by, it seems to speed up. It doesn't seem like 40 years ago. Because 40 years ago, I was still, well, let's see, I hadn't even gone to the Outer Hebrides then. I was in the early days of my service in the Royal Air Force. And in 83, I was up at Royal Air Force Boomer, spelled B-O-U-L-M-E-R, Boomer, in Northumberland, and on a radar site up there. It's fascinating. That's 40 years ago since then, and I was already well ensconced in the Air Force. Time is passing me by now that I'm 61, very nearly 62 actually. In fact, that's quite strange because I started making YouTube videos when I was in my late 50s, and I'm already in my early to mid 60s now. It's getting a bit bad, but yes. So there's been a few sort of interesting things going on. A couple of big waypoints that we've seen, as I say, with the IMAX and the Sony and the Olympus E1, and also really good news about DP review. Let me know down below what you think about DP review, if you would, because let me know if it's helped you over the years, or if you've found that archive to be particularly useful for you. I know I certainly have. Give me a big thumbs up in this video as well if you would. And I don't know if you managed to see, I did another test on my live views. I'm rather nervous about doing live views on YouTube. You can always edit out on this one, but if you do live view, you can make a total prat of yourself, which my wife seems to think that I'm very good at. So you can make a total idiot of yourself on live views if you're not careful. And there's no way to double check what you're saying. Sometimes I'll come out with something which I think is right, and I'll have to double check it on the video when I'm doing the editing. Well, of course, in a live chat, you're on your own, guy. Having said that, I am used to doing live performances in front of people, but live chat's a bit strange. I did one the other night, and thanks for the people who helped me on that. I did solve the sound problem, which was at my end on OBS, because I needed to put my microphone into mono rather than stereo, which is why it was coming out on one channel. But thanks for the people who joined in on that. And I'm seriously thinking about doing some live chats, maybe starting next week. Probably on a Sunday evening, I'd guess. I don't know, but I think that could be a good one. So a couple of live chats. I'll have to think of some subjects on those, but I really would be interested to see you online. I know it's not for everyone, and don't feel obliged to come on if you don't like it. The good thing about YouTube, when you're in the YouTube channel, is you can be lots of things at the same time. If you get somebody who likes to see my photographs and have those put up online, then great, I'll do some videos for them. But something like this, I'm not going to be putting photographs up. But if you don't like the ones where I'm sitting in the car, that's great. You just hit the next button, or you just go back to the menu and choose something else. But if you do like these ones, then great. And if you like the idea of a live feed video, then you can watch it, but nobody's forcing you to. And I think that's a really good place to be, because it allows people to have choice. So that's about it for today. I did go out the other day with my friend Paul, doing a photo shoot, which was thoroughly enjoyable, just around Lanarkos Prairie. I don't know if I'll get the chance to put some of those photos up or not. But he was using his Sony bridge camera, which seems to be absolutely superb. It's a big camera, but it does not have some reach on the zoom lens, and it does give some really good results from what I think is a 1-inch sensor, so smaller than a Micro Four Thirds. But some superb results he gets from that, shooting nature. I was trying to do some abstract stuff. I quite like doing abstract stuff of buildings. So we had a good time there, followed of course by coffee and cake. You have to have coffee and cake when you be out doing photographs. So we did that, and we had a Armed Forces Day in the UK yesterday, which is where the local communities up and down the UK are meant to come out and show their support for our armed forces. It's not a remembrance event. It's meant to be quite a jolly event, although some people do try and turn it into a remembrance event. And I went and saw my old squadron, my old Air Cadet squadron yesterday, losing at the drill competition. Never mind. But yeah, really good to see the cadet forces out, and also the veterans out there. There's an awful lot of veterans get together and go into town, and it's nice to see the locality give support to the armed forces and the veterans. The only thing that normally happens, though, they usually get somebody complaining that they don't have enough of the armed forces there on the day, and you think, well, actually, isn't this about us supporting the forces, not making them work their weekend? But never mind, that's an argument for a different day. But yes, I might be able to try and get some shots from that, a little bit of video of that, just as a short, and if I can, then I'll throw some up online anyway. It won't be a proper video, but it'll be something just to see. So until the next time, don't forget, if you are support of the video, there's a couple of ways that you can support by giving a super thanks down below, or if you'd like to buy a coffee or something, donation towards fuel or something to keep the channel going, there's a PayPal link. And if you'd like to become a patron of the channel, there are 2 levels. I've dropped it down from 3 to 2 levels. I've got rid of the most expensive level. So basically level 1 just gives you the ability to ask me a question and also get your name here, because well, here we are. Get your name here, like these people have. But if you want to go on to the 2nd level, then it gives you everything that I can do on Patreon. It gives you all the extra bits and pieces that we can do. So things like I just uploaded a video on there, which they'll see for 2 weeks before you do on YouTube. Show my choice of favourite pro lenses for studio work. So they've already had the chance to watch it. You'll have to wait until the beginning of next month before you do. But Patreon would allow you to see those, and it also supports the channel. So if you want to do that, again, there's a link to my Patreon channel down below. But until the next time, keep on taking that camera out and keep on having fun with your photos. Bye-bye.